Hello everyone, welcome to Straight Bat with Devesh. Today outdoor sports is all about power, speed and stamina. In current world, with the help of technologies, boundaries for human reach is stretched. Today we have reached Mars and even thinking of going beyond. And at the same time, in the playing ground, we are also helping our player achieve unimaginable results. Today I am focusing on technology and will try to find out what are the new possibilities in new term called AI. So please welcome Rajiv Nayan, who is also heading a business unit of a very renowned IT company. So Rajiv, how are you? How was your day?
I think I'm feeling good because today is the first day of snow in Canada in this season, so it can't be better than that.
Okay. So today we are focusing on technologies and the role of technology in today's sports world. So tell us this, what is this all AI is all about?
So it's an interesting topic these days, and if you read and hear in the news channels or tune to, or you go to a university or any corporation, AI is like a buzzword. Every corporate executive is talking about it. Every person on the street is talking about it. But there are different facets of this statement, and everybody would have a different view of this word, what AI is. What I would say in AI is, from my understanding, is primarily it mimics human intelligence. So that's what AI is all about. Now, just to give you an example what I mean by human intelligence.
So before you go further, I want to say that AI means artificial intelligence. We are talking about that. Okay.
So just to give you a point on how do you mimic a human intelligence. Let's say we decide to go out for a coffee outside, and we have to meet at a Tim Horton. Now, as a human mind, I don't plan that how I will go and reach to that Tim Horton. The reason I live in this area of GTA, I know the context that I am near this road, and I know the intersections. I know where the Tim Horton is, which we have agreed to meet. So that's the context part of it. The second aspect of human mind is, on a real-time basis, it detects and decides what needs to be done. So for example, it understands the context where it is, and it will say, okay, it's 12 noon, there's less traffic, I'll take this route. If it is more traffic, I'll take 407. Those are real-time basis. You decide and take actions to go there. Whenever you reach a Tim Horton spot, at that point of time you might decide that there are 5 people coming out from one door, you will decide to take the other door. So those are the real-time basis based on the context you decide. So the third part is the operative part. You take atomic actions that what I have to do, which you're taught as a kid and you grow up. Open the door, close the door, push the door, you can read things. So if these are all 3 things, if you say in the AI world, one is called context. I can understand and recognize things, called recognition knowledge. Other is the reasoning knowledge. And the third is operative knowledge. If you decompose all these 3 things together at the same time,
compose it together, yeah.
That becomes intelligence. That's a human intelligence.
Okay.
And if you mimic that in the today's world, that's artificial intelligence.
Okay. So the question arises here that when you talk about the context, right? So how do this, in a wide context, you organize such a huge data to process to go further? So suppose if I am a simple human being, right? I decide what I see, what I understand. I do not have access to what is going, back door, or maybe on 401 or 407. So how this is done artificially, where this data is, this robot or this machine is getting to decide?
So if you take a typical machine way of the world, or if you take the human way of the world, ideally it's mimicked in the artificial intelligence in the same way. So in the machine context, typically for any AI product to work, you need to have a lot of data and good data.
Good data.
It's like a oil for that machine to work, the AI machine to work.
So that is a prerequisite.
That's a prerequisite where, because based on that data, the machine will bring the context which I talked about. And then the real time when you are taking some action, it will decide based on that pattern which is decided in context before. It will understand the pattern what's going to happen next.
Oh, okay.
Because what AI has done, I think if you just see the economics parts of AI, why it's relevant today. If you just go back 15 years ago, what Google did, it reduced the cost of search. It gave a very simple framework. You go to www.google.com, you type something, you get the answer. Before that, it was very hard to get the information. You have to call somebody, you have to go to library. The cost was very high. It reduces the cost of search.
Not only cost, but the time.
And time also. So time in the economic sense is the cost.
Cost, yeah.
Now, if you see what AI has done today and why AI will flourish today and in future, because it has reduced the cost of prediction. So that's the similarity you can draw today, because the cost of prediction today, why? Because we can process a massive amount of data
in a very less time,
in a very short and cost effective manner.
Okay.
And that's why this AI concept has been there in the industry and in the universities since 1950s or I think 40s. But really it picked up right from here in Canada, where University of Toronto researchers and professors, they took out an article and published their results in 2012. And that's where they said that these are the ways you can utilize AI. And that's where it became very prevalent and started getting into the industry and other places. So if you have to claim something from Canada which restarted again, it's AI started from University of Toronto.
Oh, that's very interesting point to know. So give us some background that where you think that in primitive time, and when I say primitive time, not long back, like I'm talking about like in IT, in technology, primitive means like 2 years back, right? So when did this all AI was already launched and was in a very primitive stage, and actually we are using it and we never realized it is a part of AI. It will evolve to the AI which we are witnessing today. So do you have any example like in past?
No, I will say to some extent, very in a crude way. Even some of the phones which you are using today in last 3-4 years of Google Maps, it's an element of AI. But it was a very primitive in a sense, I would say. When Google started the maps, it will give you the direction. Where it started becoming more and more AI centric is today every phone, smartphone, is a sensor. Every human who carries a smartphone is a sensor for Google or Waze. We tell through the data that what speed I am driving on Ontario Road or 407. Google knows from all those data patterns coming to its server, and then it predicts and tells you that you don't take this route but take the other route, because this is going to get choked.
Okay, so you raise a very valid point here that earlier, if you are requesting some data, you are getting that data back. The system who was throwing back the data was not validating the data. It is correct or wrong. They are just throwing up the data. Now in a new form, it is also putting their logic itself to decide if the data is correct or wrong, or it also putting you giving you a direction where to go and find the right data.
So just to put what you asked the question in a different context, earlier there was no pattern recognition, I would say, or detection of any anomaly.
So that is the right word. Yes, sorry. Yeah.
So that was not happening earlier, because to do that, first you have to consume vast amount of data. Second of all, the data quality should be right. And then you have to have such a high power machine at such a low cost to do that. All those three things may not have been available 10 years earlier. Those all elements are available today, and that's why you see a lot of AI and a lot of AI predictions happening.
Okay. So as you know, my program is mainly focused on sports and particularly on cricket. So now I will try to draw your attention toward sports and like to understand, and for the benefit of my audience who are mostly cricketers, they are coaches as well. So I'd like to understand what is the role of AI today in cricket or in sports, and what is going to be in future. So can you just put some
So I think cricket, because it's played by a large population on the earth, and it's very well in the Asian countries, and it's growing well in Canada and US market and other western part of the world. And because there's a lot of money involved, they had a lot of money to invest on the research and everywhere. They were already advanced from the technology perspective. So for example, when we were growing up, the stump was a stump. Very quickly, in early 2000, I would say the stump started having cameras. They had mics. So those were digitization of some techniques where you have a real-time feed coming to the central room. And then I think now where this whole processing of data has become such a easy thing I would say and cost effective item. For take an example, the power bat, the Anil Kumble funded that startup.
Yeah.
So what it does, it's a very simple concept. They've just stick a sensor at the back of the bat, and that sensor does not alter any of the parameters of ICC as a bat. It still is a ICC approved bat. But what it does on a real time basis, the moment you hit a ball, it understands what the curve you took for the bat. It understands that where away from the sweet spot you hit that ball. It also understands what the velocity the ball came to the bat. And in a real time basis, that data is sent to Microsoft Azure cloud, where all the analytics happens. So it's two things came together. There was the sensor part which was developed, which was collecting the data. It was pushed to Azure cloud real time, which is doing all the analytics on it. And it's a real time giving you a prediction that if the next time if this kind of a ball comes, this batsman is going to hit in a certain way.
Or he may get out.
Or he may get out.
Oh, okay.
Also, when you mash up that individual data with the larger team set and the larger country's team set, that has become very interesting. Then you can start comparing who will do what. So then you start predicting much further ahead what's going to happen in the next game and the next game. So in some sense, it might be
good news for betting.
I don't know good or bad, but for at least for the fans, they start going to that data and pretty much they will know that who is going to score what.
Oh, so you're telling me that there will be a chance that they might predict everything correctly, and they say, okay, I know what is the result going to be, so let me now switch off.
I'll say one thing there. The one thing which I don't know if they are doing right now, are they assimilating the data of what is the pitch condition, what is the weather condition, what is the wind condition. If you are able to assimilate all the way, as I said earlier, the context. Which context you are playing the game? Are you playing in South Africa or India or some other place of the part of the world? If they are able to assimilate all the parameter of the context, most likely 90% of the time they will be right.
Oh.
So that's how I'll put that. It may not be 100% every time, but yes, 9 out of the 10 times they will be accurate.
So as you know, we are talking about artificial intelligence and the role of artificial intelligence in the sports. We are going for a quick break and we'll come back very soon. So stay tuned.
Today we are showcasing Rotimatic. It's a fully automated roti maker. This is the first time we are bringing to Canada, and it's available on bestbuy.ca online.
Been using this device for a year now, and it's absolutely lifesaver to me.
This is very handy device. It's a small, compact, very easy to make the rotis.
You can make crepes, you can make wraps, you can make rotis, parathas. Multi-talented machine this is.
Now Rotimatic is available in Canada online at bestbuy.ca. Free shipping within 3 to 5 business days across Canada.
Hello everyone, welcome back. As you know, we are talking about artificial intelligence and the role of artificial intelligence in sports. With me today we have Rajiv Nayan, who is talking about and educating us about the role of artificial intelligence. So we'll take it further. So Rajiv, tell us something about the role of artificial intelligence in other sports as well. Like we talked about cricket, and now let's extend it to other sports and see what is the role and what contribution artificial intelligence is doing to enhance the capability and the result of the athlete.
So I think there are a lot of examples, but I'll take one recent example. The New York City Marathon, which happened last Sunday, and I happened to run that for the first time.
Oh, you were there?
So I was there. There were 55,000 people running. There were more than 1 million people cheering up, and it's a great experience. I would advise anybody who wants to run, that's a place to go there. But just to give you a sense, there was also a product running in that marathon, and that product is called Ignio, which is yes, and that's artificial intelligence product, which is a creation of TCS, Tata from India.
Tata Consulting.
Tata Consulting Services, yes.
Okay.
And what it was doing there, it was running for only professionals, not every 55,000, but it was able to predict 30 minutes in advance to the finish line who is going to be winner in the sequence with 36 seconds of variation. So that's huge because
quite
we have not gathered the data onto the product that point of time of the course or the weather pattern of New York of that day. It was just based on historical data of how those runners run, because those data were available in the market. So when we fed that data and based on that behavior of that day for first, let's say 38 kilometers, we were able to predict that who is going to finish at 42.6 kilometer when the marathon ends, and what is the sequence, and that prediction was just a variation of 36 seconds.
So wait a minute. So take one step back. So you are talking that, did you install that chip there with the on the athletes, or it was without?
So it was
all
no,
historical.
We didn't do anything on the chip. The New York NYRR, which does that marathon, and TCS is a sponsor to that marathon, lead sponsor. But on their bib, there's always a sensor which senses.
Okay.
So it's continuous. We just pick the data of how the running pattern of that individual runner was in that first 38 kilometers.
Okay.
And based on the past behavior of huge data available of his
So
running
you
behavior,
processed him.
we processed. So that was the context. The actual running was the real time reasoning that how he is running today, and then the operative part was coming from the product that it predicted that most likely he will take so much time.
So did you also consider the wind speed, the climate, everything together, or just the speed of the past speed and the present speed?
So we didn't consider this time because it was for the first time. It was a beta testing.
Okay. Beta testing.
But next year it will be pretty much
Consider
robust
everything.
and very lot more features would be there.
So as I understood, this is basically just to predict what you are using, like artificial intelligence. But is it also to enhance the capability and the stamina, or say fitness, or maybe the skill set of the athletes or the players?
You can, and a lot of coaches will use that data to do that. So if you change that same example to a baseball, they might have thousands of streams of photos coming from how a player moves along the course, and they can process the data, and they can know that this kind of players, if they cross 100,000 times, most likely they are able to fracture their ligament. So you can tell in advance
what
that
is going to
because
happen.
this person is reaching around 99,000, you better be watchful. He might hurt himself now.
Wow.
So that's how you can. So this is just one aspect. You can do this varied aspect as a training program, because once you have that humongous amount of data and the context of that individual and how he plays, sky is the limit of prediction. You can predict a lot of
There
things.
are multiple possibilities.
And as an AI tool, you try to tune the algorithm to become more and more effective. So that's how the things works out in the AI world. It may not be accurate and first time right, but over a period of time it becomes more and more powerful.
So one thing maybe I'm very critical, and I want to surely understand this, that do you think in near future are we facing a threat as a player or a fan with the AI machine? Are they going to replace our real player in future?
So I would say, I have an opinion on that, and nobody knows and nobody has seen the crystal ball how the world will look like 10 years from now. But I still feel where the AI is today, it has not reached to the level of human ingenuity. It will still take a lot more time, because still the emotion part of it, the judgment part of it, of the humans, you still can't codify with data. Where it helps, and I'll take an example, today a coach, and if you take a coach of 20 years earlier, how his role would change with AI. I think that's how we should look at it.
Okay.
So he might have to do and take all the data
Manually.
of 20 years earlier on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And he could only remember so much things. And if you have 15 players in a squad,
It's impossible.
it's impossible to precisely pinpoint everything for every season, for every month, for every player, for every over.
Yeah.
Today that problem is solved. So the data gathering part, the analysis part is
there.
pretty much can be done by the machine. But where it comes to the human part, how that human emotion of that player works on that field, when he starts not hitting a right ball, that's where the coach part also comes into a big play, because he knows that player very well, working with him. So I think the world where we are getting into tomorrow in sports and beyond that, the human and machine will start complementing each other. So the world will become where you might have seen those pictures where there is a human with a hand of a arm of a steel. I think somehow you visualize that's the world we are going to be, where humans and machine, they will start complementing each other, and it will start enhancing the power of humans, where machine can do some mundane task, data processing and those things, but I think the actual judgment will still remain with the humans. That's my view of the world.
But the key is that performance will go up.
Yes, it has to.
Multiple times.
Multiple times, yes, because they will exactly know what to do when. They will know in advance.
Great. So, with this, as you know, and regardless what machine is doing today, for me, player will be player, and the beauty of the game is from player. But it is good to know that machine and human is going to complement each other, not competing against each other. That is the key to understand. And if you are a coach, you should better prepare yourself for the future way of training.